Hello, my name is Pyry Virrantaus. I work as a Chief Operating Officer at Aiforsite. Today I'm going to tell you about how to measure and analyze productivity at a construction site. Briefly about Aiforsite. We have been in business for 5 years now. Our mission is to significantly improve the productivity of construction industry and construction projects, and we do that by utilizing our technology solution that is built on artificial intelligence, cloud technology, and automated data collection. At the moment, we have delivered our solution to over 60 projects in various countries across the globe, including the Nordic region, UK, USA, Central Europe, and also India. And notably, Microsoft is one of our new clients that is using our solution in one of their projects in Hyderabad. So what is the problem we are trying to solve? So based on various studies and research, it shows that industry productivity has been quite low, and especially when it comes to actual construction projects. Recent research shows that only about 20 to 30% of work time at the site really adds value. So in other words, there's a huge improvement potential. So if you consider about individual worker at the site, he or she might have various challenges facing him or her. For example, do I have the right tools for my task? Do I have the right materials at the right place? Do I have the right instructions? Is the previous task completed so I can start my job? Are the other people related to my job ready? Is the workplace safe? And finally, are the conditions, like weather conditions, sufficient and proper for my task? So in terms of technological solution of this problem, I'd like to give you an architecture overview how Aiforsite is addressing this challenge. First of all, we have various data sources at the construction site, which will provide us real-time data and also relevant data from during the project, so that we can use that as part of productivity analysis. For example, we are utilizing our positioning system. In practice, it means that each and every resource has a location tag that provides real-time positioning information. So that means that we can identify resources and their location in real time. Then we have real-time automated and wireless sensors that are continuously monitoring the site conditions like weather, humidity, temperature, and so on at the site. Then we access to data provided by chosen material flow solution, because as we know, knowing the situation of the materials is quite important. Then we plug into our client's scheduling software. So from that data, we are able to understand what are all of the tasks that are in progress at the moment. And finally, we utilize various site observations, for example, human-made observations, and also more and more artificial intelligence or AI-driven observations like safety observations. So these areas make up a huge amount of valuable data that is required for us to analyze productivity at construction site. Also, it's quite important to understand what is really happening at the site in addition to the data. So getting situational awareness to validate the actual status is also a part of the equation. We do it by capturing the situational awareness with 360 video recordings, accurate drone modelings. It's up to 1 centimeter accurate 3D model. And finally, site cameras that capture live footage and also store video and still images for further usage. All this means that through our web-based Aiforsite ASC application, we are able to capture both the data sources and situational awareness, and using that, we are able to do quite concrete productivity analysis. So what are the actual means to measure productivity at the site? So based on all of this data, we have been creating various ways to measure productivity, and I would like to share two of the most important measurements with you today. The first one is called presence index, or PI for short. So that is measured by uninterrupted time spent by the worker at each work location. That time is divided by total time at the site. We get that data from our position system, namely from those tags attached to individuals, for example, their helmets. What is quite interesting is that recent research shows that in usual schedules, very low PI is usually enough to get the job done. So that tells us that the schedule has lots of buffer, unnecessary buffer, and this measurement really shows that what is the value-adding part of the work at the site. The second one I'd like to raise today is the measurement of actual versus planned lead time. And we measure that by measuring actual lead time of each task, and we divide that by planned lead time. So we combine the data from the position system and also the data from the scheduling software. And based on that, we can then see the actual versus planned lead time. And on the right-hand side, you can see a couple of examples we have taken from current projects we are working with. So you can see that typically when it comes to presence index, there's lots of improvements. And also very often there's quite a lot of improvement in actual versus planned lead time. Finally, I would like to give you a real-life case example how we are supporting our clients in real projects to improve productivity. This particular case is about hotel renovation, and it's located in a city center, and it's currently ongoing, and the planned completion date is 2022. So I would say that the key thing here is that overall we have learned that productivity needs to be led, and technology alone is not sufficient. And that's why I would like to share you the key areas in terms of people, processes, and technology, all those three together in order to reap the benefits. So starting from the people. So it's very important that leadership in these projects, for example, the responsible site management, is willingness to improve and is willing to change their behavior. Because as you know, if you're not using new technology properly, it doesn't bring too much benefits. Also, what is quite interesting is that we have introduced a new role as part of the site management team. So we call it productivity engineer, and it can be also be added to existing role like, let's say, site engineer. But the point here is that the productivity engineer is a role that is focusing only on measuring, analyzing, and improving productivity and supporting site management to make even more better decisions in terms of site progress. Then also we have found that data privacy is a topic that pops up in almost every project. So people are getting more and more aware of their rights in terms of data privacy. And when we introduce things like cameras, we need to be sure that we are aligned with regulations and legislation. And even more importantly, we would like to raise that very open and early communication is the key, because it's quite important that all the people at the site understand what this data is being collected for and what is not being collected for. So open communication is very important to get these things done. And finally, it's also very important to engage all the related stakeholders. In practice, this is done quite well by conducting specific training for all of the users and stakeholders of this kind of a system. Then I would like to cover the key points related to our learnings from process perspective. In this particular case, the client is using tagged production. This is one of their first cases where they are doing this, and they have decided to go with 1 day tagged length. In this case, we have agreed that despite we are collecting the data almost on real-time basis, and we are able to collect also productivity-related data on real-time basis, the productivity engineer is collecting the analysis on a weekly basis and reporting those key observations for the site management team on a weekly basis. So productivity measurements and decisions based on that are done on a weekly basis in this particular case. Then finally, technology. So in this particular case, the situational awareness part is carried out with Aiforsite AIC application, which is fully cloud-based and used from web browser. In this site, we have deployed like 10 or so indoor cameras, and we are conducting weekly 360 video recordings at the site. We have also deployed our positioning system. In practice, all of the site employees are wearing positioning tags in their hard hat, and we also have created indoor positioning platform so that we can quite accurately track each and every individual or resource. Our client is using Tacting as the scheduling software, and Carina Force CAL's software for material flow management. So what are then the benefits of all of this? So first of all, our clients have benefited from quicker reaction time. So this means that you're able to quicker take action to any anomaly that might pop up in real life. And as we know, those things pop up every now and then at real construction site. It's also very good to understand that now, based on all of this data and analysis, there's data-driven improvements for productivity, and it's continuous. So the project is getting better and better all the time. And also this has meant that using this kind of approach, there's been significantly improved workflow, and also the client has been able to reduce waste, whether it's time or material waste or whatever. Also, it's quite important to understand that once you have this kind of data and situational awareness, it has a big impact on improving stakeholder communication. For example, the owner of this project, the site management, and other stakeholders are all on the same page. They can easily access the same transparent data, and this will help a lot when it comes to actual decision making. And finally, utilizing this kind of a technology, the client will get a full visual documentation for the whole project. So this is also a quite important outcome, because using that documentation, for example, if there are disputes or various changes, you can use that documentation to easily get those things done. So this was a summary of this particular project. And as I said, it's very important to take all of these areas into account. Technology alone is not sufficient. It has to be led properly. Thank you for your attention, and please let me know if you have any questions.